This person had a passion for mathematics at a young age and dreamed of becoming a math professor, only for his dream to come true as he became the assistant professor of mathematics at the University of Chicago. But after the 2003 invasion of Iraq, he left this profession in order to become a community organizer, raising awareness for progressive ideas. Eventually, he ran for office himself, won, and as of 2011 has been in the Illinois State Legislature since. Now he's running for governor. Please welcome Illinois State Senator of the 9th District, Daniel Biss. Thank you, Mr. Biss.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem, no problem. So previously you were at a town hall, and I just wanted to ask, how was that town hall? How was it being around those people?
It was a great visit. We're on a statewide college tour now, trying to engage students in a movement to transform the state of Illinois. And here at the University of Chicago, we had a great visit, a packed room, a lot of great guest speakers, students who are organizing for our campaign and who brought a lot of people in who just want to see a state of Illinois that works for ordinary people, that stops empowering only the wealthy and gives the rest of us a fair shot.
Okay, so just gonna jump right to it. The first basic question, why do you want to be governor of Illinois?
I think this is a completely unique moment for our state. We're suffering, of course. Bruce Rauner has failed as governor. The state went 2 years and 6 days with no budget, harming social services, harming universities and community colleges, harming the state's fiscal position. But the truth is, we've had problems in the state for decades before that, an unfair, regressive tax system, a school funding system that did not work. And what I believe is that this is a unique moment to build a new kind of politics to transform our state. There has been way too much concentration of wealth at the top. There have been a few people who have far too much power, and I think this is a time that because people are so hungry, we can build a different kind of movement and take power back and create a state that actually works for ordinary families.
So let's talk about student loan debt. I'm a senior in high school, so is my partner, and we're going to college. So according to the Chicago Tribune, nationally, the United States has over $1.3 trillion. Quote, Illinois students are among the largest borrowers in the nation, ranking 16th among states in terms of debt burdens. Why is the price of college leaving students with almost $30,000 worth of debt?
It's unconscionable. It's that way because we've allowed it to be that way. I support tuition-free Illinois. I support getting rid of tuition at public universities and community colleges for all Illinois residents. That's the right way forward, but the state has to make needed investments for that to be possible, and the state has stepped back instead of leaning in.
And as governor, what initiative or plan would you propose to help students combat these financial issues?
Well, part of it is getting rid of tuition, but part of it on the way is dealing with the loans. I actually passed a law. Governor Rauner vetoed it, but we overrode his veto is the good news, to give Illinois the strongest student loan bill of rights of any state in the country. That's important for students who are dealing with these out-of-state loan servicing companies that can be really predatory in their behavior. I think we need to explore what we can do to use the financial power of the state to help people who are currently burdened by unreasonably large student loan debts. There are ideas that might work there, but ultimately we've got to do away with tuition if we want to solve this problem.
So let's discuss the budget crisis. So last year, the Democratic legislators and Governor Bruce Rauner, of course, had not, and you're in the Senate, had not approved a long-term spending bill in 2 years. That's how long Illinois was without a full budget. So as a result, Illinois was on the verge of becoming a state with junk credit rating, with $15 billion owed to unpaid bills and an estimated $251 billion in unfulfilled pensions for retired employees. So being a state senator yourself, why did it get to the point of just not being able to pass a full spending bill for 2 years?
It was a fight in Springfield. It was Bruce Rauner fighting with the Democrats in the legislature. Rauner wanted to advance a really ugly anti-worker agenda and wouldn't agree to a budget until we did that, and of course Democrats didn't want to do that, and everything got stuck. And as things got stuck, people got hurt. It's unconscionable. And so I was proud to vote for the budget that we eventually passed, even though it's not the budget the state needs. It's not nearly as good as what we should have, but at least to put an end to the suffering and stop the bleeding. But we have to do much better with a budget that actually asks the wealthy to pay their share and funds services properly.
And as governor, if you were elected, how would you try to avoid this gridlock? Because at the end of the day, it's the people of Illinois who are bearing the costs of having social services shut down and employees unfortunately being laid off because we don't have a budget. How would you try to avoid such gridlock?
You just have to be clear about your priorities. Bruce Rauner has not felt that having a budget was necessary, so he just was content not to. I know that we have to have a budget. I know we have to have a budget because I know that we have to fund schools. I know that we have to have a budget because I know we have to fund social service programs. I know that we have to have a budget because our state grinds to a halt if we don't. And so I've got all kinds of things I want to see happen, and I got all kinds of things I'm going to work hard to persuade the legislature to do. But to shut down government and to go without a budget because the legislature can't agree with you on something different is just not the right way to run the government.
So let's talk about healthcare. You are a strong supporter of single-payer healthcare and believe that Illinois should go in that direction, correct?
That's right.
So why do you believe Illinois should implement single-payer, universal healthcare, and Medicare for all? And how is it different from an employer-based healthcare system or even the Affordable Care Act?
I think healthcare is a right. I don't think healthcare should be an option like the other guys running for governor believe. I don't think healthcare is a privilege. I think it's a right. And so we have to have universally available healthcare where everyone has the same access. And a single-payer system does that. A single-payer system also allows the government to bargain with pharmaceutical companies so we're not overpaying for prescription drugs compared with every single other country in the world. A single-payer system wrings the inefficiencies out of the private insurance system, which are incredibly, incredibly costly and drive up the price of healthcare without giving us anything meaningful in return. And so if you have a single-payer system, you actually are doing it in the most efficient way and the most universal way and respecting that core principle that healthcare is a right and not an option.
Okay, so let's discuss, most importantly, in Chicago, criminal justice. In 2017, Chicago did see a 14% decrease, but tensions between police and many Chicagoans have not eroded. And there was a public outcry over the death of Laquan McDonald, who on record was shot 16 times. Just last year, the Justice Department released the results of a 13-month investigation into the Chicago Police Department, and revealing long actions of abuse, civil rights violations, and evidence of unwarranted killings. How do we bridge the division of Chicago when there's countless distrust and just discontent on behalf of the police when you hear these revelations about abuse?
We just can't allow it. We can't allow it to continue. We need real police accountability. We need to recruit a different kind of police force, a more diverse police force, and that's with recruitment and training, changing the culture in the force. We need to do real community policing, but we also need real accountability with local communities having an actual say in the mechanism by which officers are held accountable. There's a kind of almost quasi-militarized relationship between police and certain communities, and that's just devastating to the communities in question, and we cannot allow that to continue. And the way to stop that is to have real neighborhood voices at the table in the accountability process.
So, as governor, how would you try to work with the Chicago Police Department and citizens of Chicago to resolve some of these social issues?
The governor's got a few tools, right? The governor can be a leader themselves, can be present, can participate in conversations and meetings, can set the tone, can change the culture. The governor also can be helpful in passing laws, and we need a new legal framework for police accountability. We need a new legal structure for actual citizen input into the accountability process, and I think we need the state government to lead the way in that regard, and so we need a governor to be leading as well.
So now let's shift gears to recreational marijuana. So in the beginning of 2018, as you know, California passed legal marijuana. While medical marijuana is legal in Illinois, recreational is not. And according to the American Civil Liberties Union, marijuana arrests now account for over half of all drug arrests in the United States. Of 8.2 million marijuana arrests between 2001 and 2010, 88% were for simply having marijuana. They also acknowledged that black and white people use marijuana at equal rates, but black people were 3.73 times more likely to be arrested than whites. Do you believe recreational marijuana should be legal in Illinois?
Absolutely. I'm a co-sponsor of Senate Bill 316, which would legalize the recreational use of cannabis.
And why do you think there's been so much racial imbalance in arrests over the past years?
Oh, I think there's racial imbalance endemic to our policing. I think there is a completely different set of attitudes in affluent white communities as compared to communities of color. And I think that we should stop pretending that the problem can just solve itself. And that's part of why I support legalization of recreational use of cannabis. That instead of saying, oh, hopefully that disparity will go away, let's get rid of the source and actually legalize possession and use.
Thank you, Senator Biss. So thank you for the interview, but let's have some fun. So I have a little have some questions, some random questions that you can answer, just to just have just a little fun with this interview. So number one, who's your favorite superhero?
I mean, I think I have to say Spider-Man, right? There's only one answer to this question.
Number two, what's your favorite movie?
So I will tell you, it has been a long time since I've been a regular moviegoer. I've got 2 small kids, and I am running for governor. But as someone with 2 small kids, I like the movies that I watch with them, and so these days it's been a lot of Harry Potter.
What animal represents your personality?
How about a gazelle?
A gazelle. Interesting. Do you have a hidden talent, and if so, what is it?
I mean, for a politician, I'm an unusually good juggler.
Okay. Well, he's Illinois State Senator Daniel Biss, and he's running for governor. If you'd like to learn more about Senator Biss and his policies, you can go to his website, www.danielbiss.com, for more information. Remember, the Democratic gubernatorial primary is March 20th. If you haven't registered to vote, you can do so at your nearest DMV or register online on ova.elections.il.gov. Well, thank you, Senator Biss, for this interview.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Best of luck to primary day.
I appreciate it. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you. Thank you.